Now, hello everyone, and welcome to another video. This is the 3 Ps and Games. Now, in this video, I'm just gonna be looking over the Nintendo Direct that happened recently. I know I'm a little bit late, but I had something going on and couldn't really do a video when it came out. But I decided to make sure I do this video because I need to make a prediction video in preparation for the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct happening on April 2nd. So I said let me just go through this direct and get some things out of the way quickly. So the direct was full of some interesting announcements. They started off the direct with announcing Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D coming to the Switch, which is nice. Good announcements. Had a bunch of third-party games which I'll go through one by one and just comment on the games shown in direct and give my opinions on them. So they announced a game from the AI Somnium Files. I think it's a spin-off from that series or the likes, but it seems interesting. It's the visual novel style detective investigative game. Not really my kind of game. I'm not really into detective games, but yeah, I guess those are into this would love this. Yeah, and the name of the game is No Sleep for Kanami Date. Once again, it's from the AI Somnium Files games. Looks interesting, not my game. One that surprised me was, Atlas bringing back Raido, the Mystery of the Soulless Army. Really surprising. I didn't expect them to bring back this game. I've heard about it years ago. It's not something I thought we'll see again. It's released on the PS2, so almost 20 years since the game came out, or more than 20 years since the game came out. Really, really interesting stuff. But for those that love Atlas games, the action combat doesn't look good enough for me to warrant trying this game. Honestly, they've touched up the graphics. It looks interesting. It seems halfway between full remaster, a full remake like the Persona 5 Reload and other games. Not full, it's halfway there. Probably why they're calling it a remaster. But yeah, not my style. The action combat doesn't look good enough. I do like the intrigue in Atlas games, but this not my jam. So what interesting, those that love Atlas games, something else to try and good thing. So this game, Shadow Labyrinth, is probably one of the most interesting things I've seen in a long while. Taking Pac-Man and combining with Dark Souls and 2D adventure. Like, honestly, I think it's probably one of the most intriguing ideas I've ever seen, and whoever came up with this idea is a game design, well, it may be a game design genius or a game design, I don't want to say, but if this game hits, it's probably gonna hit well. If it doesn't hit, it's gonna be trash. So let's just see. But it looks fun. I'm really looking forward to what this game holds. Combat looks good, everything looks good. Like, Bandai Namco seems to be really trying to publish many varied things as possible. I felt they had a very okay here in a couple of fiscal years. They've had Elden Ring, Shadow of the Earth Tree, they had Sparkling Zero do well last year as well. So it may not be fantastic, but they've been doing okay. So I know that they had some downsizings though last year as well, and restructuring and whatnot. But they seem to be publishing a variety of games, which we'll see some more. We'll see some more games that they'll publish, along these directs. Yeah, so hopefully they keep doing interesting things like this. Looking forward to Shadow Labyrinth, and I think I'll save more discussion on this and another game that comes up later in the direct, because this is Parapon 1 and 2. For those who don't know, Parapon is an IP that's owned by Sony Interactive Entertainment. So yes, essentially it's a Sony first party game coming to the Nintendo Switch. So which a lot of talking points, and a lot of people gonna say Sony 2 is going third party like Xbox. Though in this case, Bandai Namco seems to be publishing it, and it seems Sony has licensed the game to Bandai Namco to publish, which kind of makes sense. But I said I'll go to it in more detail in the next game. Everybody loves golf, but yeah, I think Sony is just probably looking at, okay, we've closed Japan studios, we have so many IP that the Western guys don't really have the skill sets or really want to work on. What are they gonna do with them? I just want to let them, go slumber. I don't know, but especially with Patapon that has a game like a spiritual successor like Rataton coming out very soon by the same developers that left Japan studios. It seems kind of weird that they announced this remaster, but I guess not. Bandai Namco wants to broaden and expand their publishing. Interesting. And Story of Seasons, not really my jam once again. I do love Stardew Valley, but these games tend to do well. Harvest Moon, needed a competitor, and games like Stardew Valley, Story of Seasons, and many other farming sims have come out to give Harvest Moon a run for their money. And there's the Room Factory and other games that are similar. Yeah, not really my jam. Looks fun. I love the character design, love the isometric world. I wish Pokemon was like that. Foreshadowing, but yeah, looks well designed. At least they seem to be utilizing the hardware in the best possible way to get the game that looks really good. Nothing too fancy. I'm sure developers probably don't have that much experience or technical capability to do something full 3D, and this is just where I consider good management. The game looks good, the art style looks good, it looks like it runs well. Yeah, great game for a smaller dev. Now, Metroid Prime 4 or Metroid Prime Beyond. I don't know how to say this, but this is probably one of the worst trailers I've seen from Nintendo in a long while. And there've been some bad trailers, like, okay, maybe not the worst, but for a game like this, I think it's probably one of the worst trailers I've seen ever. First of all, as someone that has been playing Metroid Prime Remastered, haven't finished it, but been playing it on and off. This game just looks so similar to Metroid Prime Remastered. Really didn't see anything majorly different. It looks quite similar. Okay, granted, jungle environment, blah 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 blah. It may seem more generic and look similar, but nothing here, look too different. I like the fact that she puts her hands near her visor, and when she's scanning, which is very cool detail that's not in the previous game. So yeah, I really love that. I don't know if it was in Metro Prime 2 or 3. I haven't played those games, so I can't tell if that has been there, but Metro Prime Remastered that I played, it wasn't there. The enemies here look nice, but I think the most confusing part about this trailer was when they announced psychic abilities. Yeah, we'll get to that part now. It really baffled my mind. Like, they thought this trailer looked good. Like, it just looks so generic. Like, I didn't expect Nintendo to have such a generic looking trailer. Like, I left that place and no form of excitement at all, and I felt confused why they put out this trailer. Like how will you announce psychic abilities and the coolest thing you thought it could show is opening doors or remote control projectile? How would you bring out psychic abilities and the coolest thing you thought you could show was remote control doors? I don't get it. Or this remote control projectiles. Like, Batman Arkham Asylum has done remote Batarang decades ago at this point. Like, what are you doing? Like, we've seen Ultra Hand. What does this do? Like, I don't get it. Now, maybe there's going to be some spectacular puzzles when the game comes out and then the game will review very well. I expect a 90 something because Metro Prime games review fantastically well, probably another 90, high 90s maybe, but this trailer wasn't doing it for me. I really don't know who they made this trailer for. Maybe for long time Metro Prime players, but honestly, this was one of the worst trailers in this show. Yeah, one of the worst trailers. And there were some, when I say dodgy trailers in this show, but this arguably was one of the things that left me confused with barely any excitement. You just showed a couple of clips of someone shooting enemies, then opening doors with psychic abilities, when there are so many things you could do. Like you could do the gravity gun from Half-Life 2 that did decades ago, stuff like that. But yeah, this doesn't look exciting at all. I don't know what they're thinking, but this was not a good trailer. Yeah, and this was something that I felt was intriguing. This was a Disney, not something you will see, Disney Villain Curse Cafe. Not something you will see on a regular basis. So you have Disney characters here. They come to this cafe, and you get to serve them, well, wicked tea, I guess, wicked concoction and stuff. And then you get various dialogue options. Yeah, which is interesting. Once again, not my jam. I'm an open world guy. This is not things I generally will spend my time doing. But once in a while, if I do get my hands on games like this, and maybe for, let's say, research purposes or curiosity, maybe the game reviews very well, I tend to play games like this if they review very well. If it gets over 90, I'll definitely put in a try and give it a try to see how well the reviews actually match. I tend to do that a lot of times. So yeah, maybe let's see. Now this is a game that I was interested in, and I am interested in, and something I might pick up. I love the art style. I love the look. Like this to me is what I call, when it comes to the graphics of a game, what I call efficient look. Like, I know it's not easy, but gorgeous pixel art. Like, oh, this is what you call fantastic pixel art. Like, this is, I always say that because I live in Nigeria, and when I see some developers try and do 3D games, I'm like, no, you don't need to do 3D games. Like, this is something you can aim for. Look at it. Like, does this not look cool? Don't tell me you don't want to immediately play this when you have time. Like, no, this looks cool. You have my money. Like, regardless, you have it. Good job. Like, yeah, I hope it reviews well. I just hope it reviews well. Yeah, and the name of the game is called Witchbrook. Yeah, looking forward to Witchbrook. Oh yeah, this game was interesting. The Eternal Life of Goldman looks cool. Platformer with an old man. Yeah. We'll see how far that goes. But looks interesting. We also had the Gradius Origins. Yeah, so announcement of 40th anniversary of Gradius. So you get a collection, and you have a brand new game, Salamander 3 in the collection as well. Nice. So after this, we had a Rift of Necro Dancer, just a reading game once again. Yeah, music and everything looks interesting. Love the art style once again. Love the gameplay. Look, yeah, not a fan of reading games, but maybe the collaboration looks interesting as well. Yeah, so good luck to them. And one that's, I think, probably one of the worst trailers in this whole thing, Tomogachi Plaza. Really don't understand. I don't understand this game. I don't understand why this game exists. I get why this game exists, but sometimes if I find it difficult to identify so many of these games because they also look similar. They have similar mechanics and whatnot. But this is another Bandai Namco published game. And I said they seem to be publishing a lot of things nowadays, and it seems to be publishing a lot of things on Nintendo Switch. I know they've gotten a lot of success in the Switch, especially in Japan, but still impressed that they are not just waiting to Switch 2, but then again, Switch is gonna sell well in Japan continuously. Even when the Switch 2 comes out, I think the Switch will still sell very well. So you want to make sure you have a strong enough pipeline to aid in preparation for the Switch 2. Now, Switch 2 Direct gonna be a couple of days, so looking forward to seeing what they'll have there as well. Now on to Pokemon. Now, first of all, let me just say this because I'm gonna this section on Pokemon gonna be a duality. So first off, I like what I'm seeing in this trailer. The gameplay battles look interesting. The new gameplay mechanics, the new battling mechanics look interesting. I love Pokemon Legends Arceus. I'm looking forward to catching, many Pokemons. And I hope the various sound effects from using the various balls and various catching types are still there from Arceus. I love those things. Intrigued by the battle system. The graphics have improved compared to Scarlet and Violet. I have to give it that. The character designs, the character are looking way better. The Pokemon looks good. Pokemon, they look good as well. The environment generally looks better. It looks like it runs well. Good environmental design. The texture tiling and arrangements for some parts look way better than it looked in Scarlet and Violet. But the problem I still have is that some of the texture work are really poor. Like the ground textures in this grass here, like it looks, but it's still not bad. But when you look at the windows and balconies and looking at just using flat textures and like, what's going on here? Like, look at this balcony here. Like I said earlier in the Witchbrook section, when you're picking graphics, sometimes you have to just look at, okay, what can we achieve? What's our scope here? And let's look for something that looks great and just dial it down. I think Pokemon is lost on that. Like the games, it looks better than Scarlet and Violet overall, and as long as it's near full resolution, if it's near 720p on handheld and as close to 1080p in TV docked mode as possible, I'll be fine. Nothing too picky. I play Legends Arceus like that. I love those games like that. So if it's gets as close to that as possible, I'll be fine. But you can't just excuse texture work that has been left behind decades ago. Like I've been playing Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. It's just really a remaster with higher resolution for most things, and there's so many areas where it has far better textures than this game. And Xenoblade Chronicles X is massive. I didn't really understand how massive that game was. It's massive, but the texture work, everything designed to accommodate the low end hardware, and I just think that when it comes to things like this, you have to be able to balance it very well. This texture work on some of the windows and stuff don't match the game, and that's the problem. It just match it, and it makes the game look worse than it should. But anyway, I'm going to be looking forward to it. Hopefully you get to see more very soon. So they announced another Rhythm Heaven game, which is interesting. The series has been dormant for a while, and it has a couple of entries here and there. Fans have been asking for this series to come back for a while now. I'm happy for them that the series comes back and they can enjoy one of their favorite games. The whole mini games but rhythm based thing makes sense and really enjoyable. So for those that like it. So this new system of Nintendo Switch virtual cartridges. I really don't understand the system. I'm trying to understand the difference between this and what people already had on their Switch using account sharing and whatnot. I'm trying to really understand the difference. If someone knows, someone can help me put that in the comment below. I know one of the differences is that two people can play the same game at the same time, so this doesn't solve that. So I'm trying to really understand the point of doing these virtual game cards. You only still exchange one cartridge, and it goes back to the owner after 20 days. So yeah, like weird, mom. So yeah, it goes back to the owner after 20 days. Very weird. So I don't really see the advantage between this and the other options that are available in the stores right now. Or maybe Nintendo has plans for Switch 2. I just feel this is just leaning into Switch 2. Really, I think this is just a play to prepare people for Switch 2 and things that may happen in Switch 2. So yeah, anything they are doing now, I just have a feeling is to prepare for Switch 2. Maybe Switch 2 will be digital only. I don't know. I think that would be terrible, but yeah, I think everything is just here to prepare for Switch 2 at least in this feature regard, because I really don't see the major benefits with this new feature and what was there previously. But maybe those that understand it can explain better to me, because I don't see the major advantage of this whole virtual game cartridge structure. Yeah, that's just me. So yeah, this is real time. They just ruled out a bunch of games. High on Life, I just finished the main game recently on my PS5. It was fun. Nothing too spectacular about it, but it was fun. Comes the May 6, Star Overdrive comes April 10, Wandering Village comes July 17, King of Meat comes 2025, Laos Lagoon Summer 2025, Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time, that comes May 21, 2025. So lots of games in the before June schedule. I have a feeling that Nintendo Switch 2 is coming out in June. On my predictions for my next video, I think it's coming out in June. But let's see. Yeah, so they also showed another Saga Frontier remastered. For those of you who are into that, happy you. Don't know much about that. They also talk about Monument Valley 1, 2, 3. Also a game I'm not too familiar with, but you know, they have reviewed well, and players that like those games tend to like Monument Valley really well. So aside from the announcement of Monument Valley 3, which I think is big for those fans, one thing that really shocked me was getting to see more Sony owned IPs showing up on Nintendo Switch. Yes, it's not far-fetched considering the fact that we had Lego Horizons on the Switch last year, so it's likely that we'll see maybe a spin-off of other games on Nintendo hardware. But getting to see two games in this direct was interesting. And it just shows that more people are open to bringing their games to as many systems as possible, especially Sony, since they don't have much of a traction in Japan. At least they have some traction, but not up to the Switch. It just shows that they've built a relationship with Bandai Namco, and Bandai Namco seems to be willing to publish and develop games using old Sony IP, which is really interesting to me. Didn't really expect that, but I'm really curious about the conversations they're having about picking which IP Bandai Namco will publish. So far, it seems they're looking at dormant IP or IPs that are stuck on dead systems like the Vita and really didn't have any other entries. So yeah, everybody's golf or Hot Shots Golf is coming to Switch and other systems as well. So it looks like Sony is in the business of ensuring that maybe the IPs don't just go to waste, especially since they're not really doing much with them. So just license it to other people like Bandai Namco that can publish it and do any things. Many of these things are not really associated with PlayStation anyway. I don't think many people in this current time and age really know PlayStation made Patapon, or even everybody's All Shot Golf. I think many people don't know them, and I think it has really hurt Sony's brand in terms of the core players. Many players don't really know these IP or really care about these IPs nowadays. At least the console guys and at least the guys online. Many people don't really rate these IPs anyway, so I think it's fine in the long run. I just hope that let's see the limits of this collaboration. Will a Gravity Rush or Gravity Rush 2 be also part of it, since they don't seem to be having to develop any new entry? But let's just see how far they will take this. But interesting stuff nonetheless, but I don't think it really hurts Sony much. And yes, something really nice from Emu and Tribute Games, another brawler. They seem to be really good at making brawler, and this one is an Avengers style brawler, Marvel Comic Invasion. So yeah, I think it looks really nice. I've not played many of their games. Really should play Shredder's Revenge. I have it on PlayStation Plus, but I haven't tried it yet. So we'll probably pick that up and give it a try one of these days to see how well it plays. But I've heard really good things about their games. Emu have really been doing well with the brawlers, and yeah, the game looks really good. Really nice art, really nice things on display, nice moves, yeah, nice animation as well. Really cool stuff. I really hope they continue to see success as they've had in the past. They've been doing well. Emu Triple Games, yeah. Holiday 2025, great stuff, great stuff. So I think this was the final, almost the final announcement, but really interesting stuff. The final announcement of the direct was not something I was happy about, but essentially the final announcement was Tomodachi Life is coming to Nintendo Switch. Yay for those who like the game. I've not really been a fan of the series. I wanted to give it a try in the 3DS days, but it was not something I found entertaining as such. So yeah, big ups to them. The direct overall was fun, had some games, not many of them that I'm interested in, but overall the games were nice. But the finale was something I felt was highly personal. I say it's personal because directs are one of the main reasons why I really enjoyed watching marketing introduction. Seeing Miyamoto do this sign here just took me back to several years, almost 10 years ago. So watching Iwata, do this gesture, and just felt like we were building that connection with him and everyone that showed up in direct. Reggie, Bill Train, so many other guys that came on the directs, and I miss Iwata. He great CEO. It's someone I would love to emulate and be like in the future. And the directs were a way for me, I think, was to market the games. The marketing tools, yes, we all know that, but they felt like they helped build a connection with the executive, the producers, the developers, and Iwata really embodied that, trying to build that connection. Nowadays, everything just seems like, pure marketing and no really point in making connection with the people, but just the brands. They just want you to connect with the brands, and that's all, which is good. A lot of luxury brands and many other brands do that, but they don't really want to have people connected with it, because in case people leave and all those kind of things. I understand, but yeah, it just seems like Nintendo has lost that charm that it used to have. Things change, people change, companies change, and change is part of life. Well, yeah, I don't think I'll be using this Nintendo Today app often. To me, it just seems pointless. There's already Twitter. I don't want to have another news feed app again for only Nintendo. Like, really don't get the point. Same thing with Nintendo Music. Just put the stuff on Apple Music and Spotify like everybody rest. Other guys put their soundtracks there without issues. Like, really. Anyway, really just took me back to those days, of Nintendo. And yeah, Satoru Iwata gone too soon. Fantastic days. But let's wrap it up here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more video game insights. Yeah, really sad. This whole section really made me say thank you once again to Iwata, because he's part of the reasons why I love gaming today. And yeah, thank you.